You're frustrated because you've got great ideas, clear goals, and determination to make an impact. But somehow, you just can't get everyone on board. Maybe you're managing a team. Maybe it's cross-functional. Maybe you're navigating conflicting priorities. Or maybe you're just trying to secure buy-in from senior leaders who seem to have their own agendas. It feels like you're constantly spinning plates, trying to keep projects on track, but somehow, alignment is elusive. And the worst part? You don't have formal authority over many of the stakeholders you need to influence. Well, today, I'm going to show you exactly how to master stakeholder management and influence without authority. This skill is not just nice to have, it's essential if you want to advance your career and drive real impact and establish yourself as a leader in a matrixed organization. Let's start with why this matters. In Fortune 500 companies, influence is the currency of progress. Without it, even the best ideas die on the vine. Think about it. How many times have you seen a project with potential to get stuck because people just couldn't agree on the direction? Or because decision makers weren't fully bought in? Influence bridges that gap. It's what allows you to drive diverse teams, drive decisions, and execute successfully even when you're not the one calling the shots. But here's the challenge. Influence isn't just about being persuasive. It's about understanding what motivates people and what their goals are and how you can align your objectives with theirs. It's about building trust, credibility, and reputation as someone worth listening to. So how do you do it? Let's break this down into a simple framework you can apply immediately. Step 1. Map your stakeholders. Start by identifying everyone who has a stake in your project or decision. That includes direct team members, cross-functional partners, senior leaders, and even external collaborators. Once you've identified them, categorize them based on 2 criteria: their level of influence over the outcome and their level of interest in the project itself. This will give you clarity on who you need to focus your energy on. For example, a senior executive with high influence and high interest is a critical stakeholder. On the other hand, someone with low interest and low influence might require less attention. By mapping this out, you'll know where to prioritize your efforts. Step 2. Understand their priorities. It starts with empathy. You need to understand what matters most to each stakeholder. What are their goals? What pressures are they facing? What does success look like from their perspective? If you're not sure, you need to ask. A simple conversation can uncover insights that change everything. Let's say you're leading a product launch and you're struggling to get marketing and sales aligned. Instead of focusing solely on your objectives, just take the time to understand theirs. Marketing might be prioritizing brand perception, while sales may be laser-focused on short-term revenue. Once you know this, you can frame your proposal in a way that speaks to both priorities. For example, this approach not only reinforces our brand positioning, but also creates an upsell opportunity that could drive immediate revenue. So there is one way to do it. But now there's step 3. You gotta build credibility. Credibility is the foundation of influence. Without it, your ideas don't carry any weight. Credibility comes from 2 things: expertise and reliability. Expertise means knowing your stuff and being well-versed in your areas and bringing valuable insights to the table. Reliability means delivering on your commitments consistently. People trust those who follow through. So if you're working with stakeholders who don't know you well, look for quick wins to establish credibility. Solve a small problem, share relevant data, or just provide perspective that they hadn't considered. These moments build trust over time. Step 4. Tailor your communication. Different stakeholders process information differently. Some want data-driven, others want to see numbers, others are more intuitive and respond to stories or big picture vision. Pay attention to how your stakeholders communicate and adapt your approach. For instance, if you're presenting to a senior leader who is highly analytical, you need to focus on the metrics, ROI, and risk mitigation. On the other hand, if you are speaking to a creative team, emphasize the story, the impact, and the emotional connection. Tailoring your communication shows that you understand your audience, which strengthens your influence. Step 5. Create alignment. Now, don't get me wrong. Alignment doesn't mean everyone agrees 100% on everything. Rather, it means that everyone understands the direction and is willing to move forward together. To create alignment, focus on shared goals. What's the common ground that everyone can rally around? Use that as the anchor for your discussions. If conflicts arise, acknowledge them openly and look for solutions that address the underlying concerns. Let's say you're managing a project with competing timelines from different teams. Instead of getting stuck in a tug of war, just reframe the conversation. Ask, how can we sequence this work to meet the most critical milestones for both teams? This shifts the focus from conflict to problem solving. Step 6. Follow up and reinforce. Influence doesn't end with a meeting or presentation. It's sustained through follow-up. After key discussions, recap the decisions made, outline the next steps, and confirm alignment. This not only ensures clarity, but it demonstrates accountability. And over time, this reinforces your reputation as a reliable and effective collaborator. Now, let's talk about a common misperception. It's that influence is convincing people of what you want. That's not influence. That's coercion. Real influence is about creating a win-win. It's about aligning your goals with theirs so that everyone benefits. When you approach influence from this perspective, you'll find that people are not just willing, but eager to work with you. All right, before we wrap up, let me share one quick example to bring this to life. A senior brand manager at a global consumer goods company was tasked with leading a cross-functional team to revamp their product portfolio. So what's the problem? Well, marketing wanted to focus on innovation, while operations were really concerned about cost and complexity. By applying these steps, mapping stakeholders, understanding priorities, building credibility, and tailoring communication and creating alignment, she was able to propose a solution that met both objectives, introducing a modular product design that allowed for customization while controlling costs. So what was the result? It was a successful launch that strengthened her reputation as a leader who delivers results. So, what's your next step? Start with one project or initiative you're working on right now. Map your stakeholders. Have a conversation to understand their priorities. Look for ways to align their goals with yours. And remember, influence is a skill you can develop with practice. The more you apply these principles, the stronger your influence will become. Your ability to manage stakeholders effectively could be the game changer for your career. And it's not just about getting the job done. It's about building the relationships, trust, and credibility that set you apart as a leader. So go ahead, take that first step. Your future self will thank you.